So you want to learn the if function. I'll give you 5 seconds to pause this video, download the practice Excel sheet from the description below, and leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well. This is the Excel sheet that we're going to be working with. Let's start off with the if formula tab in this workbook, and we're going to try to fill the yellow bonus column. As always, let's start with how the formula works. We either go into a blank cell, type equal to if and start creating the formula, or you could always go to the insert function option right next to your formula bar to create your formulas that way. Let's first understand the syntax of the if formula and how exactly it works. Let's start off with typing equal to if and open the bracket. You can now see below the cell that it's asking for 3 different sets of information. The first one is logical test, the second one is value if true, and the third one is value if false. You can also see that value if true and value if false are in square brackets, and you know that the meaning of the square bracket means that it's not a mandatory field but an optional field. The if formula can essentially be used anytime you actually use the words if when you talk to somebody. If something happens, then something else should happen. That's essentially how this formula works. The logical test portion of the if formula is just a test that should turn up either a true or false answer. So now let's try an example. Let's say if I2 is equal to D6. What does this tell you? It's a logical test of Excel trying to figure out if this equation is true or false. In this case, I2 is customer support is equal to D6 because that's also customer support. Let's close this off by hitting the comma and closing the bracket. If you now hit enter, you can see that it shows a 0. But now if I change my department to accounts, it is now going to show false because this does not match this department. Also, if I drag this down and paste the formula everywhere, you can now see that accounts is all nil and everywhere else it shows false. This means that our if formula is working so far. Let's move on to the second section of the formula, which is value if true. What do we want to bring into this column, into this cell, if that value is true? So in our case, we want to say that if customer support is the department, then we need a specific bonus. If accounts is the department, we need a specific bonus, and so on. In this sheet, the company is only providing bonus, let's say, to the accounts department, and they are providing a 10,000 bonus for each employee. All other employees get 0 bonus. So now what we're going to try to say is that if logical test of accounts is equal to accounts in the department column, then value if true. So what do we want if accounts matches with accounts? We want the value of the bonus that is displayed here. We also lock that with the $sign and we just close it off. We go ahead and hit enter and paste the formula. You can now see that all of the non-accounts departments all have 0 and the accounts departments all have 10,000. We can also change to a different department if that's what we choose to do, and you can see that accounts now is 0 and customer support now has 10,000. Now let's move on to the third part of the formula where it says value if false. What should happen if the logical test turns out a false value? Now by default, in most cases, it's going to show you the text false or it's going to show you 0 depending on the type of formatting on this cell. But if you don't want to use this default of false or 0, you can have any result that you require in those cases. So in our example right now, we are looking for customer support who is getting a bonus of 10,000. And of course, all the other employees are getting 0 bonus. What we can do is come up here to the formula and say if false. So if not customer support in this example, we're going to say no bonus. Hit enter and you can now copy that formula down as well. You can now see that it doesn't show 0 or false. It actually says no bonus to all of these other employees. Again, you can come up here and change the department and make sure that your formula actually works. And now here's the cool part. What if all of the other employees actually get 25,000 as bonus? Right? In this case, what we can do in the formula is instead of no bonus, we can actually change that up to 25,000 so that only customer support actually gets 10,000 and all the other departments are going to get 25,000. So as you can see, the if formula is not at all difficult, but there is one more step to take this if formula to the next level. We're going to move into the nested if tab on your Excel sheets. In this sheet, you can see that each department has their own different bonuses. In this case, the most efficient formula would obviously be to use the XLOOKUP formula. But let's say you don't have XLOOKUP or you don't know how to use the XLOOKUP formula, then you could always use the if formula. It's going to be a little more tricky than the XLOOKUP, but the if works just as well. If you have any questions about the if function, let me know in the comment section down below. So the first part is going to be the same, right? Logical test. Let's say is customer support or I2 equal to the customer support in the department column, comma, value if true. So in this case, we are saying that if customer support equals customer support, right? Value will be this because customer support is supposed to get 10,000 bonus, comma, value if false. Now here is the fun part. We now don't say 0 or not applicable or no bonus or any such thing. What we want to say is if that logical test was false, we want to now create a new if function. We now have a new logical test to be conducted, which would be is accounts, let's fix that with a $sign as well, equal to the department. If it is true, we are going to have this 1000 as the bonus for that field. And now if that is not true as well, value if false should be a third if formula. In this case, we are going to say is it operations, lock that with the F4 equal to cell number D5 in the department column. If that is true, we select the 5000 bonus option, lock that with the F4 $sign. And finally, value if false, you can either choose the last department or since there are no other departments left, you can just say if none of these are true, it has to be 2500. Lock that with the $sign as well and close the bracket. Hit enter and don't worry if you get this correction message. I've just not put enough brackets. Excel has automatically fixed that. But of course, you need to close all of the brackets that you have opened. I'm just going to hit yes here and the first nested if formula has been created. All you have to do is drag it down and you can see that customer support now have 10,000 as bonus. The accounts department now has 1,000 as bonus. All of the operations have 5,000 as bonus and all of the HR have 2,500 as bonus. Now, if you don't know how to use XLOOKUP, most definitely click here and watch the video. You will not regret it. But if you know how to use XLOOKUP, check out this video. My name is Kenneth. You're watching Boss Your Office. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.